Hey YouTube, I'm down at the bottom. Yeah, so I was messing about last night. I'd like to try and do this as a live stream, but I can't work out how to do it yet. So this is a wee tester for that. So I was just looking at if someone was going to ask me to, if they were going to buy a new guitar, I would. I was thinking categories. Be all electric. That's probably a bit more like it. Um, I would. I was looking at on Thoman and stuff like that. It's amazing how many Harley Bensons there are before when you start from the cheapest first. But this is guitar, which is in Glasgow, so I'm just assuming that if you can get to the shop to actually pick it up, because you might find, you never know. I mean, here's the best guitar to buy, and then you go and you pick it up, you don't like it at all. Whereas at least in one of these places you can have a few to look at, because you can actually go to the shop. So that's why I'm looking in guitar. There's one in Glasgow, so it's what's the best selling. But I'm thinking of going more for the price low to high. So the cheapest guitar I got, 80 quid for as a left-handed. So I've never heard of Squo. That's a wee bit that name, isn't it? It doesn't. What's it look like? Just looks like it's just a cheap Strat copy. But I mean, I get it. We're talking about what I would recommend. It's got its own brand pickups. Established 1883. Yeah, well there you go. I don't know that one at all. But I would not recommend getting a Strat for your first guitar. Anyway, also looking at with as well in this search, I'm looking at the old. I don't know. I'm locked at the house, and it's because it's this shop's fault. So they're giving me a credit note for 500 quid to buy a guitar for tonight's gig, kind of thing. One of them, but it's got to be one not one I can just sell. I've got to keep it, so it's got to be something that I would kind of accept and be able to use. So I mean, I just wouldn't bother with a Strat copy, because there's just too many Strat copies, and the whole idea of having a trem if you're a beginner is not a good one. I don't think. I've never played one of these East Coast. You get one with a. It's amazing how purple makes it a bit more interesting. There we go. Bog standard telly, £100. I would take that one. I like the colour of that one, but that's got a maple neck. I prefer a maple neck. So I mean, I don't even know. These are something to do with Andertons, or I don't know whether they just decided to stock them or something like that. So you got a 3 saddle ashtray bridge, maple neck, small, slightly penisy headstock. But I mean, hey, £100. I mean, that might be the one to go for, to be honest, if you're looking at getting a guitar to start out with, because one of these things is, it's like, because it's a Telecaster, you're always going to be able to use that. It's going to be dead easy to sell, because you can't get rid of you can't get rid of Strats, but Tellies are pretty rare. I suppose you choose whichever colour you like, or there's one with a P90 in it in white with a maple fretboard. Okay, there you go, that one then. That's the one. There's my recommendation for if you were going to go and buy a guitar today, I think. Assuming they're good. There's not an awful lot to get wrong with a telly. And having the headstock's not great, but that's not really an issue. Okay, an East Coast one. So how far do you have to go? See, I don't know. See, when you get even at this. Okay, we're still in the East Coasty thing, but this sort of guitar, your sort of heavy metal-y Jackson-y type thing doesn't really appeal to me. It's like, I think it's maybe just because I saw so many of them when I started playing the guitar. All guitars were Super Strats, and it's kind of the thing about that wee telly with that telly there, or the salmon pink one. You could play anything on that and be cool. It'd be cool to play Metallica on that. Whereas when you get something like this, you're sitting there and you're trying to play, I don't know, some country or some. I don't know. It just kind of looks wrong. And don't get me wrong, you can obviously. There's with a pack with a wee amp and all that. Maybe 150 quid for a short scale. There's the cheapest of the Jacksons. Neon green. No, I said the thing is, these are not going to be easy things to shift, because not everyone's going to want that. I'm looking at a lot of these guitars are, you're going to buy it, play it for a year, and then, oh, I have taken up the guitar, I've enjoyed it, I'll sell that and buy something else. Mini Jazzmaster. This is not the stuff I was looking at the other night. I've heard bad things about them, and my pal's got one. He's got the Mustang, two of the Mustang HHs. He said they were pure amazing, so he bought the Jazzmaster. He said it was just a nightmare for him. It could just be that random one, though. A mini, 150 quid for a mini guitar. Well, I think those other ones were maybe in special offer. Whatever, the deluxe, or roasted maple neck. Nah, I wouldn't bother with that. Oh, there's your first Epiphone. That, yes. I mean, the only thing I've got against maybe a bit about that is the humbuckers. It's not going to be one of the things I would think you would want when you're starting off playing the guitar. Is yes, okay, you're into the rock and stuff like that, but you want to be able to play, get a sort of strummy, acousticy sort of sound, sort of thing. You know, like if you've got like a Strat, your positions 2 or 4, or a telly in the middle or something, you can get quite a good strummy rhythm guitar-y sound just into your amp sort of clean, which humbuckers don't really do just by what they are. You can, and I suppose it can go the other way, is that you might find that like a Strat or a telly sounds a bit thin, but you can beef that up with a distortion pedal, or just by playing it a wee bit different, or you just get used to the thinness. That's what I did. 150 for the cheapest Epiphone. I mean, I remember, I suppose they've not actually gone up that much in price. I remember them being, I think it was called a Les Paul Special 2. I remember around 119 quid or something like that. They were fine. They've got a wee bit of colour in them now, alright. A Hamer, that's second hand. Left hand. Vintage Coaster. I'm not particularly enamoured about the colours, but I mean, as I said, I'm not really going to look at a Strat. I'd imagine, has this got Wilkinson parts? I'll tell you here what it's got. Entwistle single coils. And not non-mentioned anything else. So it's I suppose it's 100 and, how much is it? 160. Yeah, I mean these are meant to be really good guitars. I think you kind of really need to know you'd want a Strat. It's like they'll, well, I don't know, maybe they would be good actually. There's the first Squire. I'd buy this. Okay, so that's the Squire doesn't have it is ultraviolet. That looks good. I like the colour. Amazing how colour can change everything. But again, just because I quite like that. 160. It'd probably, I don't know. I think it'd probably be easier to sell because it's a cool colour. I'm not sure on that one. So this is the Sonic range. I've never heard of these. This must be their new cheapest ones. They were not called Bullets a while ago. I got an all white one. Again, it's with these with a. If you're buying a cheap guitar like that, having a tremolo on it's just. Does that actually have a tremolo? Oh, there's a hardtail one. All right, okay. Yeah, okay. I'll let you away with a hardtail one. Ideally, what for a guitar that you were going to keep for that would do everything, I would be wanting that, but with an HSS and hardtail H. Okay. It's not a guitar that's going to do everything though, having a single humbucker. There's the cheapest telly. Maybe not the most uninteresting. Just a plain old butterscotch. Esquire. You couldn't really have an Esquire. Mustang. Yeah. We've seen them going up quite a bit. I mean, it's like 100 quid and 150 quid's a bit different. We're into now vintages. A Coaster Series bass, 170 quid. I'll need to look at basses next. Yeah. 160 quid. I suppose you go in and try these things and see which is best. I think a Squire's going to hold money. Well, maybe not. To be honest, the vintages probably hold money as well. Probably not quite as much. I think the trick with the vintage is if you look in, you might get one with Wilkinson parts on it. There's this squall again. I don't know, kind of a yellow Mustang, 180 quid. It's just, I just feel that these guitars should be cheaper than that. I don't think you would really get. People aren't going to like the 2 single coils. I don't think. Mind you, Telecaster. It's cool. I'd be tempted to put bigger pickups than that though. I'd be putting a Hot Rails in it or something. Or you just get a Hot Rail one. There's the first Pacifica, 180 quid. In white. You talk about your ultimate. I've had a couple of these in the last couple of weeks, and they are awful good. So they're 180 quid new. You're not allowed to buy a second hand one, obviously, for this particular thing, because obviously it would go for that. This kind of zoomed in quite far in this particular photo. Oh, I see the not enclosed tuners. Is there a picture of the back it? There is not another picture of it. I don't think that's. I think that's not included. 180 quid, don't know. An Ibanez. I don't. Oh, that. What's that? I maybe quite like that. That's kind of like the ultimate. That's like your sports Strat, where it's not quite a heavy metal pointy thing. It's just a little bit pointy, and it's got the Ibanez headstock, a Geo. I've never played one of these, but I quite like the look of that. It kind of reminds me of that RX. Is it actually an RX? It's a G. It is okay. That's why the reason it reminds me of that RX one I had is because that is obviously the G is for Geo, so it's a Geo RX. I did like that guitar. It was one that the Pete and Diesel have. I like that one. It's a micro. I wouldn't bother getting one of them. Well, not for your first guitar. I think Pacifica's still looking like quite a. Look at that. Looks cool. These some of these, like, see these scores or something like that. I wonder how long they'll last. They do kind of look. It's that whole. It looks kind of too good to be true, doesn't it? You can just get a square one that's only available in black or something like that. Then you get this one with it's got compensated saddles. Perspex, 24 frets. Really? It doesn't look like it's got 24 frets. Boring headstock. Never even noticed that's a 24 fret telly. There you go. It's an unknown. You've got other colours. Yeah. I bet it's got a neck scoop and stuff like that, or it doesn't. Okay, it's got sort of a wee bit of Chapman-y type jiggery pokery going on. Packs. I'd be tempted again. It's like with the amps. I'm just picking them up on Facebook Marketplace. If you're just starting out, you don't need a proper gigging amp. It's £200 for an East Coast Les Paul. So I would tell you, you're up above. Do you want an East Coast Les Paul, or do you want a Squire Telly? I have a Squire Telly, please. And 50 quid, or do you want a Yamaha Pacifica? That's a slightly pointier Squo. And there's the SG, not got the Epiphone one yet. The problem I've got with this is, see the older ones, I think there was a problem with Gibson, so they've made it kind of this horn not long enough, or this horn too long, or either way, so that kind of annoys me. It looks a wee bit like an ESP Viper. It's not quite the right shape. It's like, £200. We've got them. East Coast, 199. An RG. I suppose if you're right into metal, be good for down tuning and stuff like that. That would just be a little bit of hardtail. Not the most exciting thing. It doesn't really appeal to me very much. It's so black you can't see it. It's simple as you get. does a fancy fretboard inlays, I suppose. But there's always going to be a sort of market for them, but it's never going to appeal to everyone. You can't play everything on it. It doesn't look right. Yeah, we're gonna join my pub. Come and play with my pub band tonight. We're playing now. What you do is sort of 60s Beatles stuff. All right. Okay, if I bring my RG, which I don't think looks right. Well, I think if it goes the other way, you know, if you're like, yeah, we're doing some Metallica. I'll bring my Telecaster. Here we go. Brilliant. Geo Walnut. Again, I'm kind of, my problem with these things, I see as soon as you start putting the trem and stuff on, I'm kind of used to the Japanese RGs now and want to go. For these, I would rather have something as simple as possible, i.e. a Telecaster. There's a PGM Micro. I wouldn't mind a shot of one of them. I've got the real one, the big one. It's amazing how that guitar, that's just the GRX. I much prefer it with the scratch plate. A Micro, kind of looks funny. Court. Again, these are guitars for 5-10 years time, picking these up for cheap. Because I mean, not to say that they're not good. I mean, they'll be amazing, but it's just that you'll not get your money back for the Court that you will get for a Squire. I think you would lose money on the Pacifica as well. I've seen that a few times. Kind of looks like a kid's guitar for some reason. Pacificas. That must be a different model of Pacifica. Jacksons, I just find them bland. That whole type of guitar. This must be the next one up. Is it not like 170 for this? Must be a slightly more advanced Pacifica. Squire Infinity. This the first Squire Strat, 220 quid. That's the first Squire Strat, isn't it? No, there was the Sonic ones. Okay, sorry. So Affinity's now the second one up. Double humbucker Strat. Yeah, no. If they came with a coil splitter, you could fit one. Maybe they'd be your ultimate guitar. The thing with this is, though, that they're looking at these guitars. These are exactly the same guitars we saw in American Guitar Center. Obviously, I'm going to get to the point where it's a guitar I wouldn't buy myself because it'd be too expensive. Not out of not having any money, although that is partly the reason, but just out of principle. A Squire Affinity, 220 quid. I wonder how different that is from the one we're looking at. Oh, it wasn't a Squire, it was 100 quid. So it was 100 quid for the East Coast, and then it was 160 for the Squire Sonic one, and then it's run out 220 for the Affinity. I need to try both of them to see whether it was worthwhile putting the extra money in to get between them. Epiphone power players. It looks like a mini guitar. The pickups look too big. Definitely. What is it? Oh, it's demo. Does that mean it's not new? 3/4 then. 22, the 3/4 scale. Okay. No, I wouldn't bother with that. I think, to be honest, it's just one of those things that your hands can't be that small. It doesn't make that much difference, and it's so much easier to play when you've got proper string tension, stuff like that. Straight up. Ugly. Sorry. Well, they're coming in with different types now, aren't they? Quartz iron oxide. I mean, these guitars look good, but I mean, I'm still looking at, if this is your first guitar, you're looking at learning, you might not necessarily choose the right one first time, so you're better getting one that you can still use. I just think, especially with a Strat, if you like Strats, you're going to buy a better Strat, so there's not really any point in having a cheaper Strat kicking about, because it does all the same things but not as good. Whereas if you've got a telly, you can kind of keep that back, and that'll always be a cheap telly's always good. And or do you get one of these, which is always going to do, you get, I'm just saying that this Court here is basically a Pacifica, but I would buy a Pacifica instead. You've just got the sort of thing that does everything. So you play that for a year or something like that, you decide, oh, I really want a Les Paul, but you've still got that for covering all your Strat things. Or you really want a Strat, then you've got the one with the humbucker, does a bit more of the metal if it comes to it. A short scale jazz. No. Blue Graduation, a Geo 120. Yeah, yeah. I just think, yeah, you either like Ibanez or you don't like Ibanez. They're kind of, they do have a sort of image thing going on with whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. They've always seemed to have it. A vintage. See, now I think we're getting into these are no. Once you're up at 200 quid, you're starting to get these sort of guitars that this is not for somebody who's got. This is for somebody who's buying another guitar. They've got one or two and they quite fancy a wee shot of a oh, it's okay. That's second hand, so it's not. A Washburn. That's used. A Jackson Les Paul. Why? No, there's a Square Infinity telly. Although according to Mr. Whitesnake, they might not be that good, but I mean, oh, looks like my wee CSL one. That's a good. I like them. I like the guitar. That's got two humbuckers in it. Mine's I'd rather have the single coil and the bridge. There, is this thing? We not got one of them. Black Tooth Fox. Not buy one of them. I mean, straight up, I was talking about this the other day. I was thinking of getting my scratch plate, my J-Packs. I think that scratch plate is hideous. On mine, because it's black on black, you can't really see it, which is a good thing. It's like that one. It's like you don't get the acreage of white. I just don't think that's a pretty guitar. You obviously buy that scratch plate, but there's a sort of fancier HSS. See, I don't know. The thing about that is, though, that's a more versatile guitar. But I don't think that's going to appeal to people the same way like a standard Strat would. So just try, I'm sitting here telling you, try to be conservative about these things. Infinity Jazzmaster. I see, now I think what we're getting into the region of, these are people fancying a wee guitar for a project, or like, oh, I've always fancied a wee Telecaster, and you can, once you get to this point with the way guitars are now, all these guitars will be pretty good, I think. Well, I think Jackson are made by Squire anyway, aren't they? Seems to be a lot of them. I think these are still kind of going for the beginnery guitar. Another Pacifica, a 312. Oh, we're up at a 312 now, 250. One of the J-Packs guitars is actually this shape I've caught. But again, one that would be good for buying. It's a green chameleon. Yeah, see, that's quite a nice guitar. It's not going to appeal to everyone, though, but I like it. It's amazing what the colour does for me. So you get two humbuckers. I wonder if it's got the 5-way switch. So if that's got the 5-way switch on it, then you're kind of there. Still a Geo. Not that I think it makes any difference, but it still says Geo. I was looking at the. Does it have a 5-way switch? Does it have a 5-way switch? 5-way lever, it does. So that's got the. Did it even mention it? It doesn't. Yeah, so that gives you your 5 positions. You get neck position as a humbucker, and then you get neck position parallel wired, which gives you a sort of hum cancelling single coil. In the middle, you get both humbuckers, which is what I would my least favourite sound on these guitars. And then position 2, you've got like the inner coils, both of them, which gives you a sort of telly in the middle thing. And then position 1 is the bridge humbucker. I really like that layout. Dead simple, 5-way switch, all sounds hum cancelling. You get your 3 normal humbucking sounds, and then you get 2 single coil options of a sort of fat neck pickup, hum cancelling, and the sort of middle telly sound, which is really what you want. So yes, very much for that. Oh, there's the AZEs. These are new. I mean, basically just to compete with the Pacifica, isn't it? Looks almost exactly the same as that GRG. Oh, these are no longer. So that shoot out the Geos then. So this is no longer a Geo guitar. So probably makes it worth more money, because people won't like the fact that it says Geo in the headstock. It's just an Ibanez. Kind of hardtail. Maybe not super exciting. Infinity Telly. Ibanez. obviously there's other places you go. I mean, when I looked up Thoman, I wasn't doing this video thing. I got through about 4 pages of Harley Benton's before I got to any of these. There's not that much choice at the very, very cheapest end. You really are looking at that East Coast brand from Guitar Guitar. Purest Blue. I'd have that over that. I don't know, these are just a bit pointy. Double. Pacifica 112. That remote lesson must be worth money if I need to get it. What was it? Yeah, I think we're actually getting up to the sort of level that I wouldn't pay for a guitar now. To be honest. Oil can guitar, I don't mind one of them. I can't believe it's 280 quid. Oh, it's a jumpstart pack. Okay, fair enough. It's got an amp and stuff with it, probably. Yeah, I mean, these are interesting. Where's the Epiphone? Actually, we've not. There was a wee run of Les Pauls, about 150 quid. I've not seen any since then. Oh, they've changed. That's got a different scratch plate. I'm sure that the other Pacificas had none of these seem to had a scratch plate with the controls on it. This is now separate. 300 quid for Pacifica. Good guitars though. They'll last you forever. Kelly's. I don't know what it is about the Jacksons. I've never played a Jackson I really liked. I probably did have one of the Kellys. I quite like that, to be honest. But there's one called an iridescent swirl one, which looks pure amazing. Cigar box. Magneto. That kind of looks a wee bit kind of going in the corker direction, doesn't it? Is that just because it's not kind of really specifically looking like anything? It's kind of like, it's almost like a Fender lead. It's got like air vents in the scratch plate. Magneto. Never heard of them. Must be new. 300 quid though. Again, are you willing to take the risk with these things? How long are they going to last for? The problem is, it's like okay, just now they might be, or the same with the Squoes. They've chosen that because the same way as I think Sire have their range of guitars that are just like kind of totally direct competing with Squire, and they've just called them Sire, and they've gone, oh, if we call it Squo, it means we're alphabetically immediately before Squire, which I think has to be the part of the reason. There's an HH Pacifica, a 120, the 1 series, 2 humbuckers, 0 single coils. Lambert Lee. 300 quid. It's just a Jetsons guitar. I can see people buying these as like someone who's got a guitar collection. Obviously every one costs thousands of pounds and it's pure hideous, but I mean, I can see maybe people going for that. I don't like these. Scott's got one of them. Something to do with the fact it's too much of it seems to be in the right hand side. I kind of want the neck to be just over a wee bit. Vintage. Reissued. Oh, your Jazz Master. That's very much like the Badger I had, actually. We're still not at Epiphone Les Pauls yet, apart from those wee junior ones. There's first SG 320. No, I suppose looking at it price wise, I paid $215 for my Epiphone 220 for my Epiphone, and that was 1999 or something like that. So 20 years later, it's only gone up 100 quid. Everyone else has gone up more than that. Oh, it's RRP 400. What? I just see that as the Tony Iommi one. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend that as your first guitar though. Having 2 P90s, that's a bit manly. I could buy that. That'd be more. I think that's your classic second guitar. I've got my whatever it is East Coast Telecaster that I've been playing for a year. I'm a big Sabbath fan. Get my SG. Probably better off with one with humbuckers in it though, just for. So it sounds like most of them are still not at Epiphone Les Pauls. Oh god, a scratchy one. It's like, and I wouldn't bother with the Icon the pre-relic ones. So that no for me. Oh, so the reason I just paint a guitar yellow makes me quite like it. It's 300 quid though. So only going to appeal to very certain people. It's pure bland. So let's paint it yellow, make it interesting. Or a vintage telly. 330. That looks like it might have Wilkinson parts on it. 330 quid though. Where's the I'd be tempted to go for the Squire. Get out the silver burst. Oh, there's the next level of Pacifica. Right, see it's got the humbucker in the bridge and the single coil and the P90 in the neck. See that's a nice guitar. That's kind of always going to be useful. Talking about having one that you're going to keep lying about. It's like, yep, how many guitars do you have that have got a humbucker and a P90 in it? No trem though, but I've never liked either that shape or that shape. Not just because of Jackson. There's more of those Magnetos, 350. Again, I'd be tempted to think that those are the sort of guitars we're going to start seeing in 5-10 years' time once they don't sell them anymore, assuming that they don't last and people will just be you'll be able to pick them up for peanuts. Ert. Jeez. I just wouldn't bother buying any of these things. A Chapman. Again, I would just buy the telly. The telly's just going to be worth the Fender, the Squire. These things are hideous. I don't know who'd want that. But we're sitting here right in the centre of where how much the maximum kind of we're actually over how much I spend on guitars. I have once gone over that amount, but I think I'm starting to lose interest now. I suppose it's pretty cool having a thin line telly. It's got a lot on it. That'll be the Wilkinson parts as well, and you've got the wrong headstock, but you've got a thin line. I assume that's a Wilkinson pickup. We're not letting you zoom in very much. That mini humbucker in the neck. That's actually like the one I bought from China. I bought myself a thin line and then kept the cheapest guitar because I thought it was better than the thin line. I wonder if you start wondering it's the same guitar. It didn't have the good parts on it though. In fact, I think it might have. It was a very similar. I always remember it was very rare to find a telly that had the ashtray bridge and thin line, but didn't have the big horrible scratch plate on it. So this one's got like a. I'm pretty sure the one I had. I've got a video of it. Was a very similar shaped scratch plate. Doesn't mean it's the same guitar. That was one of the more expensive ones. It cost 45 quid. Another Sco. My pal Wayne's got a I can't even remember the make of them now. Palm Beach guitar, which has this sort of body shading. They've zoomed in quite nice on it. It's got the truss rod at the end of the neck. That looks like it might say Wilkinson on it. And to be honest, I think it is probably Wilkinson. Did I see Wilkinson on it? Or did I imagine it? Wilkinson. Canadian roasted maple. No, so I don't know if I really like roasted maple very much. I don't know. They're just lacking in personality. Some of these. Very classic. You run out of the classic vibe. I quite like that actually. Paranormal Strat, kind of like a Les Paul TV yellow, but it's a Strat. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm gonna. No, I mean I quite like them. Is that an Esquire? Wow. These are genuinely new things. This is this paranormal thing, isn't it? So you've got like a single wide range humbucker with it looks like a 3-way rotary switch, and yeah. I just can't see people wanting that. That's one you might be able to get cheap later. £360. We're still not at Epiphone Les Pauls. How much did Epiphone Les Pauls cost? On East Freely. I mean, you always get good reviews about the vintage stuff. It's just the problem with vintage is it's a pick to find them and to sell them, because you just type in vintage guitar and any guitar that's more than 20 years old comes up. And right, okay, can we have a better name? Like I mean physically name, not reputation. Reputation's really good. The names, right? I don't know if I like Eart either, purely because I don't know how you pronounce it. Eart. That was actually I was considered actually when it first came out, thinking that looked pretty good. Pearl and Blue P90s wrap over bridge. But I did get a shot of one of my pal's guitars. He bought one. It wasn't that one. It was a sort of green one. I don't think it the wrap over. I think it was P90s though, and it was terrible. It just been a bad one. Oh, there's my pal's Jazzmaster. That's the same guy actually I was talking about 2 seconds ago. That was a good guitar. So we're now getting into, these are a perfectly, like, if you wanted, this is exactly what Squire should be doing, as well as doing the beginner stuff. This is the sort of guitar for somebody who wants it for recording or fancies trying it out, because it's totally unacceptable and you could gig it and it's a great guitar, but it's not really, really expensive, but it totally works. The best 12 stringer I've ever played. Okay, it's not cheap, but it's a pro level. I can see like a pro level person using that for one song or for whatever, a chorus or recording stuff. And these are just, as opposed to you buy one of these because you can't afford an expensive telly. You buy that because you fancy a 12 stringer and you don't want to spend big money. You couldn't buy an Esquire because you'd never be able to sell it, even though it'd be cool. HSS Strats. I just don't find these particularly interesting. Share Gold, don't like that. It's off angle. It's wonky looking. You're really talking. Once you're up at 300, nearly 400 quid now. Oh, what's that? That's a Telecaster, one of these. Magneto U1. Epiphone SG Standard. Okay, so mine was an Epiphone SG Standard. This is what I paid 200. So basically they have doubled. It should be 500. Okay, they have doubled. That was the one there that I played. It was terrible. That green one. It could have just been a bad one though. The frets were all over the place on it. I mean, I made my pal take it back. I was like, I'm not working on this. Take it back. And again, this is where you're coming in with the Jazzmasters and the Jaguars as well. A real one's really, really expensive. And like the 12 stringer, you don't want to commit to having that because obviously they're not as good as a Tele or an SG or something like that. Or, they're not going to be as much use. But they do a thing with the Jazzmaster and the Jaguar, and these are good. In fact, I think we have the same pal out the thing. We'd had the 12 stringer had one of these as well. Oh, that's quite like that. 400 quid though. Steinberger, they're just silly. 400 quid. It's just you tacking about. Bland. I can't stop until we get until I'm appalled at how expensive the Epiphones are, because we've not really seen that many Epiphones. I mean, that's hideous. A great streamliner. Alright, I had a great streamliner, like 3T5 type thing. Burns guitars are back again. 400 quid. It's a telly with it. It's a bizarre guitar. Look at. I think it's good. It's interesting, but I don't know. Maybe these are for collectors or something. Someone just wants something interesting and different. SG Standard, 400 quid. 400 quid for a TV yellow. Jeez, doesn't sound right. That's hideous. A Iceman. For a second hand probably. I couldn't really pick out all these ARGs mid-year. There you go. There's an awful lot more guitars now. We're up at 350, 400 quid, unless it's just giving me lots of different colours. There's a 7-string open port multi-scale. The problem I would have with buying one of these multi-scale things, if you are looking at one, obviously you look at, I'll just buy a cheap one to see if I like it. You're going to end up buying a Harley Benton one because it probably only costs about 150 quid, and it'll be shit, so you'll never end up playing a 7-string multi-scale. Whereas that will be all right, or will be good. I'm assuming that all of these guitars we're seeing now should be perfectly giggable and really good guitars. In my book, once you're up over 350, 400 quid, you should be getting a guitar that's totally great. All of these should be good. There shouldn't be any issues with bad frets or I quite like the green with a humbucker. Or things that aren't up to scratch. These should all be good. There's the first Rev Star. They're awesome guitars. I had a 320, the RSE. Mine was a 320, but I think it was that guitar. I think they've changed the numbers. The only thing I would have changed on it was put a coil split on it to make it give it single coils, which they might have actually done by now. So it's stock anyway. These things. There's a lot of these. This Schecter is very. These are expensive. This Schecter is very like a lot of the Jacksons. That whole. What do you call that kind of super Strat? Where you've gone for the kind of try to make your Strat more like a Gibson, rather than going for the Floyd Rose turbo speed metal. They've kind of made it a bit more. That Jacksons are a wee bit like that as well. Gretsch. There's the first Epiphone Les Paul, 450 quid. It's just not saying anything against Epiphone Les Pauls, but that is just not your first guitar. You should not be buying a £450 guitar as your first guitar. In my book, it doesn't really matter who you are. If you've got hundreds of money, it's just not. You wouldn't be able to appreciate what it is you've got. You don't even know whether you like Les Pauls or not, and you've just blown 450 quid on it. Les Paul Junior 450. See, the Les Paul Junior should be the cheap one. I remember seeing this before with the Les Paul specials. It's like it was 150 quid or whatever it was. I didn't see them in this run, but before, where you get one with 2 pickups in it, and it was like 160 quid. Then one pickup and it was 200. You're like, but it should be less. It's got less pickups in it. That's the whole point of these things when they brought them out. They were cheaper because they didn't have the pickups cost 50 quid, therefore we'll knock 50 quid off the price and only put one in it. These things I don't know what you call what this era is. The modern coffee table era, the sort of workman like sleek minimalist. Nah. Yuck. That's that one that JPAC's got. It's a really good guitar, but it's just that they're not going to be worth any money selling it. I suppose the Gretsch have done exactly the same thing I was just talking about there with the Squire, with that the Fender 12 and the Jazzmaster and stuff. It's the whole idea of I kind of always wanted a Gretsch, but a real Gretsch costs thousands and thousands of pounds. Maybe give it a shot. So these are not necessarily again your first guitars or even your second main guitar. These are for people who already have a pile of guitars and quite fancy seeing what a Gretsch is like. Whereas I think your Epiphone Les Paul, your Epiphone SG are your right. I've been playing for a year now. I think I'm ready to go into the studio or try and do up to the next step. My main guitar will be. Whereas I just don't think your main guitar is going to be one of these. I really think that. I could just get more out of a Pacifica than I could out of that. 460 for a Gem Junior. I suppose if a lot of people do like playing their heroes guitars. This PRS SE started up second hand. Dan Electro's 450 quid. It's like, not I particularly like that one, but I did the guy in the Bucky Rage had a few Dan Electros and I really liked them, but I'm not paying 450 quid for one. They should be 150 quid. I suppose maybe 200 these days. And there's the 335 that everyone buys when they're looking at 335s, from people who try them. A number of people that have messaged me like, I've got a fancy a 335 guitar, blah blah blah, tried it, so I bought an Ibanez Arccore. That just seems to be the way. For anyone, I think that people who are looking at 335s, basically anyone who went and tried the Ibanez Art Score bought that instead, because it was you got like the more expensive guitar for a cheaper price. Right, we're now up at 500 quid. That's more than I would spend on a guitar. And not to be honest, none of these are. I'm not finding these particularly interesting. Any of these. That's hideous. These EVHs are a hideous shape. No, none of these. This is my baby metal guitar. Oh, I think I had a shot of one of them. I think my pal. It was a good telly, yeah. £500 though. Maestro, right, I don't like the Explorer. Again, these are very much not your first guitar. These are very much your second guitar, or I fancy trying something different. I've already got 10 guitars. I've already got a Strat, a Telly, a TT5, an SG, and a Les Paul, and a pointy one. Now I want a Gretsch. Just hit £500. There's a PGM, my one. That's body 385. No, it doesn't have specs on it. Does body EMGs? Okay, been upgraded. Same. Is that a? What do you reckon the chances are? You're not gonna be able to tell by looking at it. The back of the headstock. Right, picture of the back of the headstock. I don't think that's the same as mine. It's better nick than mine, I think. But I think I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's not in here just now. I think that's the Korean version. They made it in Japan for like 2 years and then Korea for 5 years. Silver Sky now for £500. Just a more. If you want to cause some controversy, I can see the point in that. That looks like a Dave Grohl's one. Yeah, so we're kind of now up at. I'm now just seeing if anything jumps out. I'm kind of drawn to ones with crazy colours. I'm pure. None of these are good as JPAX colours though. Fender Player Series, is that a Mexican? Not second hand. Mexican standard. So it's a Mexican. So it's £500 for a Mexican Fender. Well, no, it's just a used Mexican Fender, so it must cost more than that. Oh god. A lot of these Gretsch Electromagnetis, they are very pretty. SG Custom. I'm about to wrap this up, I think. That's been nearly 50 minutes. Oh, quite better. Wrap it up. It's maybe the colour I like most. £500 though. £500 you can get a Japanese RG. I suppose there is a joy of having something that's brand new and in perfect condition and all that, but sod that. Lumps and bumps and age. Yeah, we're to be honest, we're outside my where I like looking at guitars anyway. I'm not, even if I had money, I wasn't going to be spending this amount of money. I mean, it's been £550 in that. Yeah, I've not seen anything interesting for pages now. One more page and then I'll give up. Go to bases. What kind of bass would you get? So, if it came down to what guitar would I recommend, I suppose I would be looking at that East Coast Telly. See how you got on with it. The problem is nobody wants a Telly as their first guitar because they're not as cool. They want a Strat. I mean, I was just looking at there. If it was going to be for me, it was only the Tellys was the only ones I would be really interested in. I think Charvel. I suppose I would have to go and try one of those Squo ones. I mean, you're talking about £100, isn't it? Or I've had to play a gig with it. What was it? I was originally going to say that it was up here, right? You've got up to £500 to buy a thing for tonight's gig, but you get to keep the change, but you do have to keep the guitar you're stuck with, and it's I'm looking at there and just going, I would have no there'd be no point in me having a Squire Strat. I don't need one. I've got better Strats. Whereas a telly, okay, I've got other tellies, but tellies are pretty cool, and I don't know. I'd maybe mod it. I don't even know if I would. Anyhow, rock on. See if that video watch. See if anyone does it. I'm going to do my live stream tonight. See if I can actually work out how to get this back on the page. So stop recording. Rock on. Catch you later. If you enjoyed this, give us any ones that I've blatantly missed out. And I'm aware that there are a lot of other ranges of guitars. It's just that I'm just going for this guitar shop because that's the one that's in Glasgow. I know if you look on Thoman, for example. I mean, I'll look on Thoman. I'll do one of these videos if anyone's interested in doing any of these, or maybe if I can tell me how to set it up so I can have like a group chat going at the same time, would be pretty cool. But yeah, so rock on. Catch you later.